Step number 2 is to ensure that the brain has been destroyed. And it's very easy to do in the field, and it consists simply of feeling the top of the skull with one's hand, and a sealer can have a glove in his hand, and he will still be able to detect that the whole skull, the whole top of the skull has been completely destroyed. It's really a difference between day and night. A skull that has not been destroyed would be very firm on touch. A skull that has been crushed completely, both sides of the skull, will be like mush, essentially, like a rag. It would be very easy for the sealer to determine that within a few seconds. And of course, there is a difference between hunting an animal with a hackapick and hunting an animal with a rifle. The great advantage that I see with hunting an animal with a hackapick is that the sealer is right beside the animal and therefore can do that step number 2 of checking the skull immediately after that. And if the skull is not completely destroyed, then the sealer has a hackapick in his hand and can right away finish the process of crushing the skull. With a rifle, of course, it's different because it takes some time for the skipper to get to the animal once it has been shot with a rifle. But the principle is the same. To do this step number 2, to check that the skull is completely destroyed as quickly as possible once you have gotten to the animal, either getting onto the ice floe and retrieving the animal with a hackapick in this case, or retrieving the animal with a gaff if it happens that the seal has been shot on a very small ice floe, to retrieve it with a gaff, and then as soon as it is on the deck of the sealing vessel, to do that step 2 and ensure that the skull is crushed. And if it's not crushed, then you have the choice between a hackapick or a club to finish the process. That's why we consider that the hackapick and the club remain essential tools in the process. And even if you have used a very high-power rifle, when you do this, you have an animal that is brought on the deck of the sealing vessel and its head is completely destroyed. It sounds a bit silly to ask you to do that process again of checking the skull, but I see it as becoming a second nature, that without even thinking about it, this step number 2 follows the step number 1. And even at the end of the day, when you're tired and you maybe tend to cut corners, this step number 2 would have become, as I said, second nature, and you will do it no matter what, and that will show a lot of degree of professionalism, someone who understands what he is doing, and can show that the job really cannot be done better than he is doing it at the time.